Hogwarts Legacy crossing $1 billion and what that might mean for Warner Brothers moving forward. Chris, what do we got?
This is from Wayne. Hey, John. So like millions of other people, I bought Hogwarts Legacy and I absolutely loved it. It's everything a Harry Potter game should be if it's not seen in the era of Harry Potter. Anyways, did you see that the CEO of Discovery said Hogwarts Legacy sold 15 million copies, but also made over $1 billion? I think that's awesome. What do you think this means for the games going forward?
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, Wayne. You know, Hogwarts Legacy is I'm not a Potterhead myself, but it is a pretty wildly, ludicrously beautiful, immersive game. Anne has been playing it, and I just sit in the theater room with her while working on other stuff, and I'll just watch her play the game, and it's gorgeous. It is really, really beautiful to look at, and it's got great characters in it. It's very immersive. The way you build up in the game, it's just a very, very well done thing, and it proves once again that people are not tired of Harry Potter. People might have gotten a little bit tired of Fantastic Beasts, but they're not tired of Harry Potter. And when they brought the world of Harry Potter back to the world of Harry Potter, Hogwarts, that's what people kind of identify with Harry Potter. You saw it exploded, and it has generated over $1 billion in revenue. Now, this has not escaped the attention of Zaslav, CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, who thinks this is, I love that picture so much, who thinks this is a terrific opportunity for them. This comes to us from game developer who writes the following. It's in a separate earnings report, Hogwarts Legacy was described as the largest release of all time for Warner Brothers games and the company's best-selling game year to date. Zaslav seems eager to replicate the success of Hogwarts Legacy and, in something of a ramble, suggested Warner Brothers might look to some of its other major properties in a bid to do so. David Zaslav said, "When we launch a product on Max or HBO, and when we have a game, that game belongs to us. But now there's this in-betweener. It may be in the next couple of years that we launch a Superman movie, and there's more economics of people just having out there in the Superman world and universe," commented Zaslav. So basically what David Zaslav is talking about here is like, we maybe need to start looking at this thing as a total ecosystem, right? We've got this Harry Potter brand that is so valuable in and of itself. And we were able to make this game that's made $1 billion. And by the way, the game itself, and I have been told that they are still indeed looking at developing a potential movie property for Hogwarts Legacy. And that the upcoming rebooted Harry Potter thing is not the limits of what they're looking at in this world, but that we maybe need to really marriage these things a little bit closer. Not in the same way that Atari made the E.T. video game, that infamously, they had to literally bury in the New Mexico desert 800,000 copies of the game because nobody bought it. That game was terrible, by the way. But rather something really interconnected. Not necessarily canon or anything like that, but it's like, if we can do this with Harry Potter, what if when we launch a Superman movie, we also launch this immersive Superman game? That's not just a cheap side scroller like listen, every time a movie comes out, some cheap mobile game of it comes out, yeah. Sure. But no, something AAA, something truly immersive and wonderful that gets people, more immersed into the world of Superman or Batman or Cyborg or whatever before we take it back over to the game port. It's a shift in philosophy for them, but they're realizing, hey, listen, when somebody comes up to you and hands you a check for $1 billion, you tend to look at the world a little differently after that happens. And it seems like that's what he's doing here. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Rocket Money. The average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want and don't even use. Simply find the subscription you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as the click of a button. My wife Ann and I moved out of Burbank 2 years ago, and one of the first things I discovered when I loaded up Rocket Money was that I was still paying for a gym membership I haven't even been to in Burbank in 2 years. So stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. Anyway, Chris, you're reading these numbers. I mean, these are staggering. $1 billion in revenue for a game with a multi-billion-dollar property. How should David Zaslav look at this, and how could they maybe incorporate some of the properties that they have into a multi-medium sort of approach?
Well, first of all, I've got to eat crow here because when the game first came out, because of all the controversy and everything around JK, I was like, do people even want to play this? Is there still a market for this? And there is. So I was completely wrong on that one. People are really enjoying this game. And those people who have played it, I've heard really, really good things from it. I know Tom Felton recently did a playthrough of it, and that garnered some more attention. There's been new patches and stuff in. So good for them. That's really wonderful. If you're into this universe, you've got this whole new one to explore. And it does make sense to go back to Hogwarts as opposed to what we've seen with the Harry Potter franchise, where we've gone towards Newt Scamander, and we kind of even got away from the Fantastic Beasts. We didn't have many of those in the films.
No, it's true. Yeah.
And so this seems like a smart move where you're having a lot of success with something where it takes it back to the place where it all began, the supposedly safest place in the Wizarding World. I still find that very, very odd. The woods are the detention area. There's a basilisk in the dungeon. I don't understand why you guys think that's safe, but hey, good for you. But if this is something that people are really, really enjoying, of course you would look to this. I mean, look at how we are looking at so many different video game properties in themselves too, and going, how do we adapt that for screen, for television, for film? How do we take that amazing story and we put it here for our audiences? Certain other movies, too, have been able to do that inverse. Some of the Lord of the Rings spin-off games have been really, really fun. Those have been really, really cool, and I think they still hold up personally. But for the most part, yeah, you usually have a game that kind of syncs up with a movie. It tends to be trash.
Yeah.
It tends to not be very good.
They just push it out. It's just like...
Yeah, just get it out there.
Yep.
So I think having that kind of synergy is a really, really smart business move. And it feels almost, even though it's not going to be canonic, I think it does feel kind of like what James Gunn has been talking about and Peter Safran have been talking about with the DC universe.
Right.
Of having a bit more synergy between the comics, the games, and the media that goes out elsewhere. So I feel like it's a good move.
Let's get that Superman game going. We haven't
I would love open world Superman.
Yeah, we haven't had a good Superman game. Like, do that and do some Godzilla game. A really good Godzilla, King Kong, Willy Wonka. I mean, you could have an adventure Willy Wonka where you're a kid and you're trying to get the thing. There's a bunch of properties they have I'm reading. So,
do you remember a little while ago? What was it called? Unreal Engine 5? Is that what the latest one is?
That Superman demo.
Yeah. Did you see
incredible.
that? For those of you who didn't see, you might want to look it up on YouTube, but somebody took that Unreal Engine and did an open world Superman demo where you literally could like just fly around Metropolis, right? As Superman. And that's all it was. All that video footage is so, but just watching that made me feel exactly what Ray's saying. It was just like, I want to play this Superman game now.
We've never had a good Superman game.
We really haven't.
And it sucks. He's one of the most iconic characters, especially in
I guess the problem, though, is just sort of like, he's invincible.
Well, that's the same problem with trying to do a Superman movie, right?
Yeah.
So like even in Injustice Gods Among Us, it's like, well, what's the point of having a fighting game if Superman's one of the characters? Superman just beats everybody. I know.
Everyone and their mom has kryptonite.
They developed a pill where everybody has the strength of Superman. And it's like, well, okay.
Well, maybe you start him when he's really young and you have to win your powers or learn them as you go. And then it ends with full-blown Superman, but that would piss a lot of people off.
But now we're getting way off of Harry Potter. We're getting way away from Harry Potter. His question is for you guys. What do you think about this? I mean, that game made over $1 billion and counting, by the way. They just introduced the port to PlayStation 4 for people who didn't have the 5. So that's there now. It's just going to make more money now. And how do you think Warner Brothers and David Zaslav should look to take lessons from that and maybe start to integrate that into their overall philosophical approach to their IP? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.